Hello, I am Jen of Divine Vitality, and I am here to talk with you today about the profile lines, these 6 lines in human design that make up your profile. So let's talk about them and dive in. So there are 6 lines. The first 3 are in what's called the lower trigram. They're really about foundation, about creating. And then the second 3 are in the upper trigram, kind of having the knowledge, doing the things with it, having that. I don't want to say higher level, but there is a different aspect to them. So let's go through each one. So the 1 line, this is called the investigator, the archetype of researching, of really needing to know why. We use the house metaphor in human design. So the 1 line is really the basement, right? It is the foundation. You have to have all the knowledge, the infrastructure to be able to hold up everything else. So if you are a 1 line, you're going to want to research things, to dive in, to know everything there is about whatever it is that you're working with. In business, this might look like knowing all of the ins and outs of website design, of um, therapeutic modalities, right? Graphic making, anything like that. You're going to want to investigate and know everything about it. So, really allowing yourself to do that and making sure when you are starting something new or learning something that you're giving yourself the space and energetic capacity to dive in and learn everything that there is to know about it. The 2 line. The 2 line is the archetype of the hermit. There is a cycle of output, of creativity, of showing your brilliance. And then there's the hermit phase where you need to retreat, you need to rest, you need to take time off. The 2 line also has this inner knowing. You don't know how you know things, but you know things, right? You might start a new project and just jump in and do it perfectly, right? You've already done the project while the 1 line is still researching it, right? They're still learning about logically what is this, while the 2 line has just jumped in and been like, oh, look, I'm an expert, right? So it's really important to allow yourself, if you're a 2 line, to just do the things that you know how to do. You don't need to know why. You don't need to explain to anyone about it. Also, it's important to be aware of and honor your hermit cycle, your phases of rest and retreat. With awareness, you might know this on a weekly or monthly level. You can also look at this on a transit astrological level to help you see that, especially if you're launching or planning anything. It can be really helpful to know when your hermit cycles are coming, especially if you're a female. It may pair up with your moon cycle, with your period cycle, just so that you can plan for success. I'll also note with the 2 line, there is a projection field. It can be really strong. So you are likely projected onto others around you, just take out their inner turmoil, triggers, traumas on you. So it's really important to be aware of that, to not take that on, right? They might project onto you because they're jealous or envious that you just know how to do things, right? It says nothing about you. So there's so much to that. Then we have the 3 line. The 3 line is the archetype of the martyr, right? Sacrificing yourself for others. The 3 line is all about experimenting and experiencing. It's trial and error. You have to get in there. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to try it out. You have to make mistakes. You are going to fail. It is about how you get back up, keep going, and take the lessons from all the mistakes and failures to do it differently the next time or to share with people, right? I learned about all of this because I made so many mistakes. A motto that I use as a three line myself is fuck around and find out. That's what you need to do. You need to get in there. You got to play around with it and you got to find out what works and what doesn't work. So, really, experience whatever it is that you are stepping into, right? You're likely more of a kinesthetic learner because you have to actually do it. So then moving over to the upper trigram, right? The four line is called the opportunist. This four line is really about networking. It's about connections. Four lines are so social. They just know people. They easily meet people. They have conversations and they move about. So it's through these connections, through this networking, that opportunities come to them, right? So yeah, be social, be out there, meet lots of people. You don't need to have deep relationships. Maybe with some of them you do, but there are people that you might just know to reach out to, right? The three line has an aspect of bonds made and broken, right? Many three lines will create deep bonds and then they'll just be severed and you may never talk to those people again. Whereas four lines tend to hold on to those people. They're still maybe in connection or can always just reach out, right? Oh, I know somebody, let me reach out to them. That is the four line. So it is great for opportunities, invitations, things like that. Then we have the fifth line. So this is the archetype of the heretic, the warrior, the savior. The five line also has a projection field. So five lines, like myself, are projected onto as we are the experts. We have all the solutions. We are going to save you. We're going to fix you. We're going to solve all of your problems. So definitely be aware of that projection field because no one is responsible for solving others' problems, right? Especially the internal ones. They need to do it themselves. So you certainly don't want to show up as that savior and say, I will save you, right? There's an ego complex that could be involved in here too. But you are a problem solver. You can solve problems. You have the solutions. People look to you to fight for that, right? Being that warrior or to be that savior, right? Give me the answer. So, especially in your area of expertise, when you are in your zone of genius, you can show up as that heretic. Again, just be aware of that powerful projection field. And then lastly, we have the sixth line. This is the line of the role model. And this is the most complex line because there are three phases. So if you are a six line, know that you will not actually hit that line six, be that role model until your second Saturn return around age 50. So the first 30 years of your life, you're really more of a one line. You are in the mix. You are learning about life. You're kind of like a three line too, because you're kind of experimenting like what is life, right? Investigating what goes on here. What are these workings, right? What is the matrix, right? What is reality? Things like that, especially where you're going in life. So the first 30 years until your first Saturn return is about, yeah, just investigating what life is. Then after 30, we use the term on the roof, right? This house acronym. So you're up on the roof, really seeing what is life. You are more of the three line of, does what I learned in the first 30 years work? Does this work in life? Does this serve me? Does this benefit me? And then in that second Saturn return around age 50 is when you come off the roof. That is when you get off the roof down into the world to show, hey, I know how things go. Let me role model, right? Look at me, all that I've learned to see how I'm doing it so that I can be the role model in whatever area of life for you. But it's really important before age 50 to not try to be the role model, right? There's another ego complex that really comes into the sixth line of forcing and pushing and being that role model when you're just not there yet. So now let's talk about the profile. So there are two numbers to the profile, right? I'm a 3-5 profile. So the first number is your conscious design. It is your conscious profile. So you are likely aware of this archetype, this role that you play, right? For me, as a conscious 3 line, I'm the martyr. I get that. I understand that. I see it. This can be really important to bring into your business and honor because you're consciously aware of it. The second number, right after that slash, for me, it's that 5 line, is your unconscious design. This is all about the body. The first number, the conscious, being more your personality. So the unconscious is how others see you. It can be difficult for us to be aware of that, right? Because it is unconscious, but especially bringing this into life and business to know how others perceive you, right? It was really helpful for me to understand, oh, unconsciously, I am the heretic, that warrior. So everyone does see me as that warrior savior. So how am I showing up? How do I want to speak to that, right? Especially with a projection line, how can I have boundaries and be really clear on who I am and what I do, and who I am not and what I don't do, to really have those clear boundaries because I'm not aware of it, but everyone else sees that. So when you put the two numbers together, it creates its own personality. It's kind of like the 12 zodiacs. There are 12 profiles. When we put them together, right, my conscious personality of the martyr, my unconscious personality and design of the heretic, together creates the great life experimenter, right? I need to get in there to figure it out, to make mistakes, to fail, to know what works so that I can provide the solutions to everyone else. So bringing this into my life, into my business, tying this into my strategy and authority can be very, very helpful. So if you would like to learn more about this, connect with me on Instagram. I share posts. Definitely message me, DM me. We can have a conversation, see if it would be helpful to work together or jump on a quick call to chat. Can absolutely check out my website. My signature offer of one-on-one VIP coaching is Inner Work, 6 months of really understanding, deconditioning, and embodying your design for alignment. And I offer different types of readings, coaching, and workshops. So please reach out, and I can't wait to chat with you.